International League T20 or ILT20 has been around for just 2 seasons, but it has already created quite a buzz. Now in December last year, the ILT20 became the first associate run league to get official List A status from the International Cricket Council or ICC. We are now building up to season 3 in the UAE, and I'm delighted to be joined in our studios by David White, CEO of the league, and Ashish Sehgal, Chief Growth Officer of ZEEL Entertainment Enterprises Limited. Thank you, gentlemen, for your time. I'm going to start with you, David. You're a former New Zealand international. You've also been a CEO of New Zealand Cricket. So was it more difficult padding up to Wasim Akram and Waqar Younis, or sort of running this league on a day-to-day basis?
Well, playing against those two great fast bowlers was an amazing experience and something I'll never forget.
Okay. On a more serious note, when you make that transition to the other side, when you plan a season, how difficult is it? Because you're not just going to factor in player availability, a window, broadcasters, sponsors, franchises. So it can be quite a difficult job at times.
Yeah, it's a big exercise, but we're very fortunate that we've got tremendous commercial partners. We've also got great cricketers as well. We can select 9 overseas players, and we've got a tremendous roster coming again this year. And in addition, hosting it in the UAE at that time of the year in January and February is beautiful weather and great stadiums. So we've got all the attributes for a fantastic tournament.
Okay, Ashish, let me bring you in, because T20 cricket, it's a crowded space.
Yes.
If you look at the way world sport is at the moment, I believe that cricket is going down the football route, where you have leagues through the year, and then perhaps you have this international windows at times. Cricket is getting there. It's not yet there at the moment. How difficult has it been for you to create space for this league in what is an overcrowded market at the moment?
So you rightly said, T20 is becoming overcrowded, or it's been played more often. But I would say that, firstly in India specifically, so I'll start from India and then maybe talk about the global advantage of our league. India is a cricketing nation. You play 365 days, people are going to watch it. Now it depends the kind of quality of sport you're bringing in front of the viewers. And that is where I think the ILT20 league stands apart. Most of the matches, because we are fanatic and the kind of weather we face in our country is extreme. So the advantage is that today we are building a league which is for 30 days, and also creating an environment where it is going to be enjoyed, not just for the the love of the game or the quality of the game, but also for the comfort of the consumer. So that is one. We are actually insisting on it, that we make it a destination sport for people who enjoy T20 so much. That is one. That's a differential thing. Globally, as David said, that we have 9 international players, which most of the T20 league do not have. Everybody is mostly having their own country's league. They are more dominated, country-wise. We have here players who are coming across the world. Hence, the creating viewer or fan base globally will help us to build the popularity of this sport. Of course, India will always dominate the viewership as well as the fan base. But I think this has the unique capability of building a global fan base for us.
Okay, David, because you mentioned India, you're up against the IPL. Then you have the Big Bash League in Australia. Pakistan has a T20 league. I think South Africa started one as well. How do you sort of juggle the pieces of the jigsaw to ensure that you are competitive and you make a mark as well? That's the challenge, isn't it?
I think it's a very interesting time for the global game. I think you're always going to have an annual ICC event, and that is very important because that annual event will fund the member countries. Always have an IPL, and the IPL has been fantastic for the international game. Brilliant. And then you've got leagues, and I totally agree with you. I think that the future is very much going to be that football model where you've got 4 to 5 major leagues around the world. And I believe that the DP World ILT20 is incredibly well positioned to be one of those leagues, because you know, professional sport is based on where you've got big economies, and the Middle East has got a fantastic economy, great climate, it's a global hub, and I think that going forward, ILT20 is going to be a big league. So where do you have the balance of the leagues, balance of cricket? I think the international game's got to sort that out. But going forward, at the moment, we're looking to have our own window. So this year we've been restricted with the window by the fact that the Champions Trophy is on 10 days later. But going forward, we're looking at our standalone window, hopefully, and maybe that will be February, March. February, March, where there won't be any competition, which means that no competition for players, and commercially is a lot less competition as well.
Okay, you know, when you started off the answer, I was wondering, oh, that's my next question. Yeah. But I'm going to sort of try and rephrase what I wanted to ask you, because, you know, we all refer to Lords as the home of cricket, but right now, the way cricket is evolving, the UAE has sort of emerged as this parallel destination. You know, whenever there's an issue somewhere, you move a big tournament to the UAE, and do you feel that the fact that you're playing your matches in Dubai, Sharjah, and around there, the time zone suits India and the Indian subcontinent, and that's a sort of a godsend, because that's where the eyeballs are.
Oh, it's a massive advantage. You know, we're really lucky to have ZEEL as our commercial partner, broadcast partner. 220 million eyeballs last year watched it. We're really lucky with that. Great time zone, like you said. But also, I think what Ashish said before was we wanted to make it a destination. And I think that UAE as a country has become a destination, you know, big airport, and we want to make that the same for our league as well. So people from around the world, and in particular Indians, January, February, a lot of them go over to Dubai for shopping and holidays, and we want them to come along to the cricket as well. So that's a big focus for us.
Sports tourism, that's the next big thing, isn't it? But Ashish, just to pick up on that, you know, to use a reference from golf, what's happening in professional golf, the phrase which is thrown about a lot is, we want to grow the game. In your case, you want to grow the league. What are your plans to sort of increase the eyeballs, not just in India, as he said, 220 million viewers, but in other territories across the world as much? Because if you really want to grow the league, you need to have sort of fingers in many other different parts of the world.
I get your point. So I'll start with India itself, that we are going to grow the league itself in India. Last year we had almost 10 channels, you know, showcasing or telecasting the league. This year we have extended to 15 channels. So we have added the southern piece of our channels. Our southern movie channels and some of our GEC channels are doing very well in that market. We have a huge viewership. That fan base itself will help us build the initial base for it. Secondly, our target is that, you know, there is a huge amount of sporting, you know, fan base or sporting people who viewership, which is there. How do we extend that onto the, you know, other people who are not watching sports so much? So I think that is one of our endeavor, that we start building to the entertainment space, our sport entertainment, which we want to call ILT20 as, because it's gonna give you viewers the more, you know, quality sports, not just the quality sports, but also to see that how they can enjoy the sport first. So that is India. So, and as you know that the southern part of the country, which is our India, has more affinity towards UAE. There are a lot of people who have their relatives staying there. So that, you know, word of mouth will help increase the buzz for the event and the tournament. Now coming from a global point of view, ZEEL is the, as you know, is a global broadcaster. We have our channels across almost 25 countries or more, I guess. I still don't know how many countries we are entering into, but our majority of our, you know, countries like UAE, South Africa, UK, USA, Middle East, your APAC region, all these places, I think we have a formidable broadcast, you know, opportunity, and there we are going to telecast this league. Secondly, we are also looking at in certain countries like New Zealand or Australia, where there is a huge amount of followership of sporting this thing, and we will have some players coming from there as well. We may go free initially, you know, with YouTube, etc. So we're looking at, you know, how to expand the base first.
Okay.
Okay, so that is how. And in India itself, we are making the league free on Z5 as well to increase the digital viewership base for the league itself. So I think that's the overall plan, and it's just the start. Once league becomes more popular, I think we'll take more steps to build the league.
Of course, the more people who watch, the more attractive they get. David, every league sort of has its own success story, you know, be it the EPL, or sort of the Champions League. We had the draw last night. You've had 2 seasons. What are the success stories you're proud of across the first 2 seasons? Is it just about getting the property on the ground, or you think you've sort of had a lot of success stories which you want to tell the world and this is your best option?
I wasn't involved in the first season, but hats off to the people that got it up and running the first time. You know, being an associate country, more challenging than being a full member, and so to get the league up and running was a tremendous effort. The first year the crowds probably weren't what they would have wanted, but second year we really drove to get attendance. We increased attendance by 300%. 200,000 people watched. We had a sold out final, 25,000. I think the other big success has been some of the players that have come through. You know, you look at some of the players that played last year, young Fraser McGurk, the Australian, who was a sensation in the IPL.
Yep.
You've got Jamie Smith, who played got a great 100 for England the other day against Sri Lanka. So not only is it for established international cricketers, but it's also for aspiring cricketers. And as well, we should not forget the UAE players. So they make up 2 players per team, and that is a key part of our high performance program in the UAE. And I think that the reason they made the Asia Cup big league for next year is the fact that they've had this great exposure in the DP World ILT20.
Okay, you mentioned Fraser McGurk. I, in fact, saw him play during the IPL, but I've got some names down here. Now, you've got 6 franchises, and together they've retained 69 players. And some of the names I was going through, there's some heavy hitters in there. There's what? There's David Warner, Andre Russell, Kyron Pollard, Nicholas Pooran. So, sort of, can you share with us sort of the build-up to the next season? Because you're now into that mode, right? You're building up towards the 11th of Jan. And while you said, you know, we've increased our footfalls by 300%, he would love it if he increases viewership by 300%.
I think, well, our first milestone is on the 15th of September. We will announce some more players and some really exciting names as well. I think people are going to be pleasantly surprised and happy with the players we've got. But I think the big focus for this year is working with our commercial partners, franchises, to really start to build the league and establish it. It's very important that we move fast for it to become competitive and commercially sustainable, and within the teams to start building up that fan rivalry, which is essential for the success of the league.
Okay, Ashish, when he says you need to build it up, would you sort of like to have more Indian and Pakistani cricketers feature? I know that there are national contracts, but we are seeing a growing trend now of many players sort of giving up international cricket and becoming full-time T20 sort of players across the world. That's one good way of sort of getting in all the eyeballs, isn't it? Is that something you're looking at?
Of course, why not? I mean, there is nothing better than that. And I think he gave us, some insight into that. Shikhar Dhawan just retired, and I don't know whether he's going to be there, but at least David is making queries to get him on. So that's a plus for us. But to answer your question, definitely India and Pakistan players coming on to this league is going to quadruple, the more than 300%, as you said, increase in the viewership for sure. But irrespective, even if they don't come, I mean, we still have plans to build our viewership to almost 230 to 240 million viewers this year, reaching that many viewers by adding these channels, promoting it in a much better way by, we are starting our marketing activities much before this time. We're doing a lot of innovative things which we'll share possibly in your later episode as to be closer to the, show as to what we're going to do to promote the league.
Okay. No, David, I was telling you just before we rolled that I just got back from the Paris Olympic Games. There's a huge buzz over there about cricket being a part of the next Olympic Games in Los Angeles. Now, once T20 cricket gets to the Olympics, do you see a sort of a boost for your league as well? Because when you're in the Olympics, you sort of have that extra sort of affinity towards the sport. Do you see your league getting a boost as well because of that?
I think so. I think probably more in the less established markets. If you see some of the smaller countries, more populated countries following it, absolutely. But I've got to say that I think that T20 has been a revolution for the game. You know, it's now the factor that drives revenue significantly. The IPL has been a phenomenal success and brilliant for cricket around the world as well. So I think T20 cricket is still going to grow, and the challenge for the international boards is where does the rest of the cricket fit into the calendar?
Okay, I was actually going through sort of future tours program of international cricket, and you start on the 11th of January 2025, and there isn't much cricket being played, international cricket being played at that time. So could you tell us why do you think season 3 of the ILT20 is going to be something we all have to sort of pencil into our calendars?
I think it's maturing. I think we've got a good base to work on. We're going to take a more collective approach to awareness and marketing, which we've already started with our commercial partners. We're really going to drive that hard. There's going to be more people at the game. We're going to be more innovative in the way we market and the way we get people to the ground. So the work really starts now, and we're excited about the future. We think it's going to get bigger and bigger. And like we said before, I firmly believe that this league is going to be one of the big leagues in the future.
Okay, Ashish is listening intently because he's trying to put pressure on you, Ashish.
No, I will just add to it, and why you should also. We are looking at this time gratifying our viewers immensely through the tournament. So there will be a lot of engagements, gratifications in terms of maybe a goal or some other gifts, etc. being offered, and they would know that UAE is very famous about gratifying anything. You go and you enter an airport and you see 1 million dirham or 10 million dirham award or some very big fancy car standing.
Especially the cars, yes.
Yeah, shopping there. So I think that will add, and so the UAE consumer as well as Indian consumer is so in tune to getting some gratification along with having a viewing enjoyment. So I think that will gonna help this league. And for that matter of fact, neither IPL or any other such league, frankly, gives anything to the viewer, right? So I think this is going to be the differentiator from our side.
I must say, at the end of this all, it was very gratifying to have this conversation with the both of you. Sort of learned a lot about this new league. I love the enthusiasm that you have. So thank you so much for coming here and telling us what to expect. And I know in the days ahead, we're probably going to have many more interactions such as this. And you're going to have a lot of long nights, but hopefully at the end of it, you all can sleep well. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for having us. Thank you.
For all the latest news, download the WION app and subscribe to our YouTube channel.